Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Much thanks for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to the Extra. I'm Robert Chirabonyo, in case you have just joined. Now, usually we have a guest or guests in studios with whom we discuss issues of national concern. There is so much that is happening. Well, we have the recent, which were the walk to Parliament protest yesterday, and of course there's a lot of traffic jam. Today, the situation is still, when it comes to traffic jam, we have heavy jam. I don't know why. But good enough, I have the spokesperson, Uganda Police Force Traffic, and that is Michael Kananura. But we are not discussing the protest this time. We are looking at the border operations in Kampala now. These have been around for quite a long time, and now police is calling upon persons whose motorcycles could have been gotten impounded in these operations to come and pick them. They are stuck with these motorcycles. When you move to a number of police stations in Kampala, you may think maybe it is a dumping yard of motorcycles, and in one way they could even be a security threat in case of a fire outbreak or anything like that. So we have him here to understand, well, how did they get to this point where now the motorcycles are so many, packed? When you go to Katwe, they are countless. When you go to CPS, if you're able to move through and you have an aerial view of the parking yard at CPS, you're going to get shocked. When you go to Kira Road, when you go to everywhere, there are so many motorcycles parked at police stations, occupying a big portion of the police land, and yet their owners are seemingly not picking them. Welcome to our studios.
Yeah, thank you, my brother Shirabo. Good morning, and to our viewers out there, a good morning. I'm happy to be here. I'm Superintendent of Police Michael Kananura, and I'm the PRO for traffic. I also work as the community liaison officer for the Directorate of Traffic and Road Safety. I am glad to be here.
Now, it's also an honor having you, because most on such an issue that the public is very eager to understand. The border industry employs a lot of people. So many people are not only riders, importing, assembling. It's a whole chain of business. Now, first, take us through what were the intentions of these border operations that have been ongoing? I think now it's coming to maybe a decade of these operations.
Yeah, thank you once again. One, of course, as traffic police, what brings us to the roads is to ensure there is sanity in terms of road safety on our roads. We want to ensure, to make sure that everyone is safe. When we talk about road crashes, they are becoming so rampant, and most of these are coming or come as a result of borders. Every other time we talk about statistics of traffic accidents, you always see that numbers are increasing, and because of borders. When you look at the statistics of 2023, it was seen that 85% of these crashes were from borders, pedestrians, and pedocyclists. Put aside the drivers and their passengers. And the borders being in the lead. Every other time I go to the media and I'm to talk about the statistics, weekly statistics, borders have always contributed more than 50%. We have pedestrians, we have pedocyclists, we have passengers in vehicles, we have drivers, but borders are always on top, leading when it comes to the death of fatalities. And now this one really makes us now come out to put emphasis, or to put much efforts on operations among borders, because what normally causes death among these people, it is because they have adamantly refused to use crash elements reflective jackets, and those that go ahead to put on more than one passenger on their motorcycles, those that continue to violate most of the traffic laws and regulations. When I talk about that, we don't forget about those that violate the one-way rules. We have seen them, even when they are aware.
Yes.
So we cannot really sit and keep on looking when all this mess is happening. We are saying we believe really we can still bring sanity among these people by conducting these operations. The good thing, we don't just come out of the blue and start these operations. In most cases, we announce these operations and tell them, if you can prepare and please have what we need, please do it. But then if we can't, we shall also not keep on watching. We shall come and get you. So, Mr. Chirabo and the two viewers out there, this is what actually brings us to the roads, and that is why we have these numbers. Most of them are being parked at the stations. That is why we see traffic officers every other day on the roads conducting these operations among border borders, because they have refused to listen to what we are telling them. By the way, besides the enforcement, we also conduct sensitizations. I cannot count the number of times we have engaged these border borders with the help of civil society organizations and other companies to create awareness and say, look here, if you ever get involved into an accident or any crash without a crash element, your chances of dying are so many. So let's use these crash elements. Of course, some adhere and they use them, but others have continued to use. So that's what brings us on the roads. That's what really gives us that mandate to conduct these operations among border borders with the aim or purpose of saving lives of these people. This is not only affecting the riders, but even the innocent passengers. Exactly.
Now,
not only the passengers, also on the motorcycles, but even the pedestrians who are using the roads, most of them are knocked by these border borders. You find them forcing themselves on one-ways riding there. So we have no any other alternative apart from getting to the field, and you see us getting these border borders, telling them, please, do what we want you to do and live on the road.
now, Michael, no objection. Any person who moves on the streets of Uganda, either a pedestrian or you're driving, the border nuisance is something that you see. Indeed, it is an avoidable evil, because we all know that borders are the most unsafest means of transport in Uganda. But now, are there tangible results? Because it's almost coming to a decade, and these operations have been going on. We'll not have statistics maybe of significant reduction. We've not had statistics maybe of behavior change, or if we can quantify or find a way of doing this. It seems you're doing the same thing over and over, expecting the same results, yet it has proven not a solution.
Now, you are right that we don't have tangible results to see, to quantify this and say that the accidents have reduced by this, because you people, what you keep seeing are the increasing numbers. Every other time we appear to mention these statistics, they seem to be adding some numbers instead of reducing some numbers. However, we have to know that, first of all, Mr. Chilabo, we have to understand that these motorcycles are increasing day by day.
That is very true.
Yes, they are increasing. And the more the traffic we have, the more traffic flow, the more vehicles, the more people, the more the whatever developments and all that, the higher the risks or the chances of these crashes. So probably we would maybe register more accidents than what we are registering now. No one knows. But because what we are really trying to put and do sometimes, somehow also tries to reduce some of these crashes. So we cannot really determine that by saying that, because we don't have any tangible thing. I could say that maybe we could be registering more and more crashes. For example, where we are losing 80 people in a week, we would maybe register more than that if we are not to have these operations. I want to tell you that these operations, they are helpful. Even sensitizations. Every time we meet these borders, if we speak to 200, I am sure 10 or 20 will pick the message and try to put things right or change. Probably would have more people die. Exactly. And we are not stopping at that, but we are also coming on board with our other stakeholders or partners in this. Talk of the KCCA, trying to see how best we can gazette these stages of borders and at least have fewer numbers or fewer stages who may be really controlled. Because you see, there are a lot of challenges in borders. As we are looking at those that operate in the city, that have stages in the city, but then there are also others who come from Mukono, who come from PG, who come from Matuga, everywhere outside Kampala. They want to come and operate in the city here.
Then in the evening,
and
they ride
then
back.
Exactly. In the evening, they ride back. So when they come in here, they are new. They don't know how things operate. They are the people we find maybe violating the traffic lights because they are saying they are not sensitized. So as for us, we are thinking that we have sensitized the groups here and they are aware of us with what is supposed to be done. Now again, we get now these are new groups that we are not aware of. Exactly. They come and they really do things as if they have not had anything from anyone. So that is also another challenge. But I believe these steps that we are taking with KCCA and other people to make sure that we have these stages gazetted and we know who is staging where, who have we talked to, who have we not talked to. Exactly. And many other plans. For example, even people who sell these motorcycles, you talked about it. Do you know that there are people who are importing parts of motorcycles and these motorcycles are being assembled in here and just given to, as long as someone has money. We don't want to know whether they have any skill in riding. We don't want to know who they are in terms of security and all that. But once we just give out motorcycles because we are getting money. And then we are forgetting that these people are taking these motorcycles to go and die on the roads or even kill other people. So not until everyone is touched on the matter of road safety, we may do all these things in vain. So we want everyone here to be touched.
Rightly speaking, it must have a multi-sectoral approach towards it and not only the operations. But today I'm most centered on these operations. To some extent, don't you think these operations have lost meaning? Because some have been marked with so much corruption. Others now, we are having the bad apples. And viewers, I want to commend and thank my guest this morning, because one time I reported to him a case, and he can give even details, where a group of policemen, were they 3-4, who had made it a habit when they feel they are broke, they got a certain junction, they get motorcycles, get some money from them, then they go away. These bad apples. Today you're driving around railway ground, not the railway as you're going to Mukwan. You see a case of official and a police officer at their will anytime. They nab 2-3 pack, after some time they are paid off, you continue. So let's look at this bastardization of this whole exercise by KCCA, because I've seen so much KCCA staff involved, those are supposed to, or you call them wardens, and some policemen who have made it anywhere where there is jam, rush hour. Sometimes they even employ goons in layer, civilian clothes. For them, their role is to nab, then they take there, and this officer, this corruption, this, no, because I know a police officer has the right to caution or pardon, that is okay. But when he goes into extortion, it's like a syndicated approach, like the ones I told you, and you did a great job just down here at Garden City, who had made it a habit. Someone tells a colleague, let's go and get lunch, and they go.
Yeah, thank you so much. What really I can comment about that is one. First of all, as traffic police, we have a unit of alert squad. What is its purpose? Its purpose is to get these indisciplined officers. These officers who get to the roads in the name of protecting lives of people, now they start turning it into, to benefit their own interests by getting money out of these people. So all we need is information. All we need is information and vigilance from members of the public. Actually, I just want to thank you, because remember, the other issue, if you had not brought that issue to me, I was not going to know. So there are many things which are being done out there, but then people don't bring this information to us. That unity that we have, we even try these officers, but of course, based on evidence. You come, report your case, and that's why I always encourage people, record some of these things. Record either their voices or their videos if you can, bring it to us. We shall be able to summon these officers. We provide this evidence. We try them in our courts. We have courts. We try them disciplinary. Some of them are reverted out of traffic. Some of them, or many other punishments given to them. But I want to tell you that people don't want to bring information to us. And then we also need
someone
this
feels
vigilance,
here,
you know?
it has been a favor. He's riding, has no permit, so someone has nabbed him and
That
says
is where
4,000.
that is where now we are really finding it's so challenging to fight that thing of kintu kidogo, because someone who is giving it out feels he's favored or thinks he's favored. So him now giving the information, it is difficult. They only wait for you to get to the to such a platforms of
yes, then they send messages.
Then they start sending messages and say, we are tired of your corruption. So why can't you bring us this information? And I want to tell you that the few people who have come to us with this information, we have gone ahead and tried these officers. These people have got justice, I want to tell you. So we also need to be vigilant. I want to tell you that, you know, human beings are complicated people. We saw the other day, I was seeing in the news how someone has different ranks of the army, pretending to be an army officer, yet the man has never become, and he goes, he cheats people over land and all that. So, if we don't get this information, or if we are not conscious, security conscious, to know who we are dealing with, then to share information for us to be helped, these things will remain there. It is possible. The other day we also had a traffic officer, I think it was last year, some time back. A man has never become even a police officer, but the man gets a uniform, gets to the road, and does work. Like I think for the whole year, no one gets to know who this person is. So that vigilance is very, very important to Bwana Chirabo and to our viewers out there. We need to be mindful. Otherwise, if we are not careful, people come into the name of protecting lives of people or road safety or officer, then now they end up doing their own things. But when we see these things, we have to report. We have to give this information. I mean, it's very, very important. Where we give information, get in touch with our DPCs, get in touch with our RPCs, OC traffic, RTOs, all those supervisors are in place in order to help us in case of anything that is not right, that we see that is not right, either on the road or anywhere. So, and we cannot say that we don't operate these, or we don't conduct these operations because of that. No, we have to conduct these operations and then deal with these officers who are doing these things.
Maybe
but
just if you can give an example for about, I know in police, for any operation, he's sanctioned. Hope I have that right.
Any what?
Operation. Say
yes.
if maybe at Katwe police, at Katwe's police station, if they are going to impound borders, there's someone who has to sanction, and now we are going for an operation to avoid just any police officer doing that. So are there specifications where the public can maybe know that this is a genuine border operation happening, or this is staged by a few men in uniform and women? Because how I got to know those of Garden City, I saw these were not traffic officers, and I had monitored them for a very long time. Then the other thing I saw was that they were not taking any motorcycle away. The many they would line there. After some time, you would see one by one being cleared to go. So, and I didn't see any traffic officer there, and it had become regular. That's when I was able. My conscience told me this is wrong. So, are there specifications or that maybe an ordinary citizen can know that this person or the two here don't seem, it's not a sanctioned operation, it's a trumped or something like that?
Now, one, every time we conduct these operations, we have what we call operational orders. They are made, given to the entire force, also the supervisors at all levels, to know that at this point, from this date to this date, we are going to have operations on borders. Now, when we get to those borders, I also go ahead by those sometimes, get to the media and announce these operations and say, we are going to conduct operations aiming at those that don't put on crash elements. I mention all those things. What is the aim? The aim is for those ones who can, let them put in order not to be, because this also shows that our intention is not to get these people. By the way, we don't enjoy getting these people and packing them. We don't. But we are forced because of the law and also to save lives of people. So When those are on top of the operation order, I go ahead to talk about it over social medias, and of which I believe that information moves everywhere.
Yes, it is.
All these platforms of borders, I want to tell you, we are on those platforms. We communicate everywhere. I know who I call, I give my information, and it reaches all borders in the whole country. I want to tell you that. And they also, we actually work together, those borders you see. All platforms of borders in all country, I am there. So we communicate and they get to know. Exactly. Now, for people out there watching, they need to know, how do we know that this is a genuine operation? It has to be traffic officers. We all know how traffic officers put on. They may not be alone. They work with other traffic officers like in police officers like in Madoadwa or Kachi, but assisting them like in terms of security, providing security, or also even helping them. Because you know these borders, my brother,
yes.
It is not easy.
It's not
like
easy.
a battlefield. It's
I
like
agree
a battlefield.
with you.
Exactly. So, but they are in a team. They are in a team. We have to see a team. We have to see many other officers with traffic white amulets. Then we know, and white caps. Then we know that this is now what? Traffic. Exactly. In some places, we have also to see other supervisors watching, seeing what is happening. If someone does not have maybe a rank somewhere, or at least the supervisor of that other team is somewhere, because we also expect that there is something that may not go on well. So who do we reach out to? It is the supervisor standing by and watching what others are doing and say, please, I have a sick person, this is what is happening. So we expect this supervisor now there to handle some of those things before they come to us. And so that's now what to expect now, the entire operation to look like. And then, as they are getting these borders, they are not getting solicit money. They are getting, because they don't have the requirements, parking them somewhere. Then after the end of it all, we have a breakdown. We put them on and take them to various stations. And then we also say that these breakdowns, no one should charge more than 10,000.
No one should charge
When it
more
goes
than
up-
10,000.
Yeah, when
yes.
it goes beyond that, then something else. We need to get information.
Because
What the
usually these
feedback.
operations are near police station.
Yes, they are near police stations.
And the
That one is very
breakdown
clear.
is carrying about 10 or something like that.
Yeah, very clear. So let it be little money which everyone can afford. 10,000 at least. So that is what we expect our operations to look like. So these other officers, yes, someone may ask, can I be arrested by another police officer other than a traffic officer? Yes, only if he also arrests you and hands you over. Let him not arrest you and then asks for money. That is illegal. That is not acceptable. And those are things that I'm saying we must be reporting. So where you see a police officer, even if it is a traffic officer, is getting you and negotiating for money, that is wrong. And me as Kananura, seated in the office, I cannot dream of that unless I get the information. Mr. Charabo, every time we get to these people, we give our numbers, and they do have our numbers. So can we get information of some of those irregularities, irregular conducts by our traffic officers or police officers? And where we have got information, I am telling you, we have come on board and we have rectified some of
Now, you've rightly mentioned the arrest, the impounding, of the border. Then you've talked about the breakdown. Then what happens at police when they reach police? Because now, along here, there could be elements of corruption. But then also, now let's look at the police. A person whose border has been impounded, what is required of them when it arrives at a police station?
Good. Now, when these motorcycles are impounded and taken to the station, of course, we expect you to follow it up because it is your motorcycle.
Yes.
And you are told of the offenses, and then you are fined. But when you are fined, you are also supposed to come with documents to confirm that the motorcycle we got from you belongs to you. That is also important. So when you prove now, they will give you a punishment. And we also say that these punishments should also not be too much. 40, 80 maximum. So you go and pay, come, prove ownership of this motorcycle, get your motorcycle, and go. Beyond that, and then that is now where we see, now that one of course now brings us to where we have these motorcycles that are not claimed for.
Even before we go there, you've talked about one, You're given a receipt, not so? Then you go in the bank and pay. So when I come back with that, I'm supposed to go with my motorcycle after clearing, because usually after paying that, they'll tell you also clear the breakdown. Breakdown is not receipted for.
Breakdown is not receipted
It's not
for.
receipted for. So if I'm paying 40, maximum 80, and there are other costs. Let me give you an example. One time, years have passed, but it was an experience I went through. That was at Katwe police station. I enjoy biking. I enjoy riding all my life. And one of my bikes was with the mechanic. And he happened to not have a helmet. You know mechanics in there. So it was impounded along Katwe. I was very busy. I said, well, I'll look at that later. He did clear everything, but then they told him you have to pay parking fee. I asked myself, at a police station, my mom insisted, yes, for security purposes. I said, but a motorcycle brought in the premises of a police station, I'm paying for parking, I'm paying for security, under which order? But finally, sometimes your time bad. Actually, these are some of the reasons why I think sometimes corruption, right? It's because you're like, now I go through this, I go through this to sort this, how much, this, and you go so. You're saying once I've paid the fine in the bank and I have proof of ownership and I clear the breakdown, then that is all, that is what I'm required to pay.
That is what you are required to pay.
Not this
Situations where now people
yes.
ask for extra money, that is illegal and that is not acceptable. We only need your information to tell us or tip us that this is what is happening. And I also want to encourage people. At the stations, we have OC stations who supervise. We have DPCs. Let's get to them. Let's not end at interacting with this officer who guards the yard. And then we think that is all. Because you have come now with all the clearance maybe from traffic, and you come to the officer and you say, okay, I'm here for the motorcycle. Now also the officer now looks at it as his chance now to exploit you by extorting some money. Please don't accept. At least get back to those supervisors and say, here I have been cleared, but now this person is saying ABC. So that was not acceptable, because really, what security money do you ask for at the station where we have all the police officers who stay there and sleep there? What's their role then if they cannot really protect the properties of the one inch? Exactly. So that is not acceptable. That is illegal. Where it happened, it was very illegal and not acceptable.
Now, why are you stuck with thousands of borders at police stations, turning our good police stations as if they are dumping sites for motorcycles or scrapyards?
Now, those motorcycles that are parked at different stations in the country, they are not only for the offenses of traffic police. Even CID, flying squad, crime intelligence, they also in their intelligence and cases, they also have some of these motorcycles stuck at the stations. Actually, those motorcycles belonging to those other departments I talked about, they are more than the ones in traffic. Because for us, the ones in traffic, our cases are very clear and open. We don't need unless it is an accident case that has not been fully settled in court, that has taken long. A sort of that, Bwana Chirabo, most of the motorcycles that come from traffic, they don't take long at the stations. So most of them are cases to do with the CID, there's investigations, suspected stolen motorcycles, they're investigating them, and many other cases. That's why we see some of them, and of course those cases take long in court to be concluded. Exactly. That is why we also have those. So, but many people, of course, every time they see these motorcycles, they think it is out of our operations that these motorcycles are parked. But also then, motorcycles that are parked at the station as a result of road accidents. Those cases of accidents are also not also easily concluded. We have people who are in hospitals, nursing wounds and all that. We have others who have died, and then of course we are waiting upon court to tell us the last step to do, who to hand over the motorcycle to, who should compensate who, and all that. So all that also puts those motorcycles at the stations. However, the ones that come as a result of operations, And then we tell these people, please come with proof of ownership before you take this motorcycle. The majority have done so. They have come with the logbooks and taken these motorcycles. So you find that there are some motorcycles which are not claimed because people have failed completely to get documents for these motorcycles.
We have a number of them who are running loans. How do you handle that? Now,
the loan issue, that one is easy. It's a matter of coming. As actually I speak yesterday, someone came to me at Natete. They conducted an operation in the night. It was got around 11. And they were screening now because the people they wanted. So as they were screening, they also told him, no, it is late. We are taking your motorcycle, but come with proof of ownership to Natete on Monday and get this motorcycle. Of course, when he came to me, and I had to go there to the officers, and they explained to me, of course, the motorcycles were there. They had got what they had wanted. Then there are those ones they didn't want because they didn't have any case. So, and this man now was among those ones they did not want. But this man had actually obtained a loan using actually the names of the wife, who he came with. The wife is the one who got a loan of this motorcycle from a certain banker, but they came with those documents, which are very clear on how much they pay and how much they obtain that motorcycle on. So I took them to the officer, and the officer verified the documents, photocopied them, and handed over the motorcycle to them. So those things we understand. Those things really we understand. It's a matter of liaising with the bank or any financial institution that could have issued that motorcycle on a loan, and after verifying it is so, there is no reason why really we should get stuck with this.
Now, sometimes most people have logbooks, but they do not transfer ownership. So if the logbook belongs to that...
Yes, you have... actually, those ones are also the majority. But then you have the agreement. If I make a transaction with you, Mr. Chirabu, you have sold to me your bike. We make an agreement. On top of an agreement, you get a logbook and they give it to me. So we expect the police to come with both. Because you may not have... You can steal the logbook, and then the agreement is not there. So we look at both, then we verify that, oh, you own this motorcycle, and then you are able to sign for that motorcycle. So the question here is, it is true that there are motorcycles which we are stuck with because people don't have documents for these motorcycles. We have heard, of course, how there are also thefts of these motorcycles. People are killed, people are cut, and then motorcycles are taken. Where do you think the motorcycles end?
On the road.
On the road. They are not taken to scrap. They end on the road. And when they end on the road, these people don't have clear documents because these motorcycles were stolen. And we are also calling upon these people because someone can steal a motorcycle from far Kanungu and comes to ride it here in Kampala. So for us, as we are conducting our normal operations, we run on this motorcycle. This person will never have documents. So those are some of the motorcycles.
Neither come to claim it.
They can't. They can't. Because they even fear, because they know how they obtain these motorcycles. Some motorcycles are changed number plates. So we are also saying that, please, if you know you lost your motorcycle, feel free to come to any police station and look through. And some people have found these motorcycles. Exactly. As long as you prove ownership, you prove where you reported the case. Of course, it could have been also investigated somehow, somewhere. We end up also. So, but we cannot risk to just get these motorcycles and hand them over anyhow without proof. Otherwise, after all, even when we are conducting these motorcycles, some of them throw them away and run. So now if they come, you are just seeing new faces that you have not seen, because someone could ask himself, you are conducting these operations, you have seen this is Chirabo, I've got a motorcycle from. Why can't it be that when Chirabo comes, you say, okay, you are the person whom I got the motorcycle from? Just take. No way. Some different faces now may come in, and we have also seen scenarios, sir, where officers have bought these motorcycles because they handed them to wrong hands, to wrong people. Yes, we have seen all this. So we are very careful, very extra careful when it comes to handing over these motorcycles.
Now, how long does it take, you're more conversant with this, to auction these motorcycles? For how long? Because we need to call upon the public. Like you've said, you've lost a motorcycle. I mean, they stole a motorcycle from you. Maybe you have your motorcycle, and out of maybe you're relaxing or not giving it all it takes to gather documentation for you to come and pick this motorcycle. So police cannot be a dumping yard for scrap or for funny. We can't have the way some police stations are there for looking. When you go to CPS, you get a very ugly picture. When you go to Katwe, it's still not looking that well. So how long does it take for you to auction? Maybe this can create fear for someone to rush and work on documentation and pick their motorcycle.
The fact is, Mr. Chirabo, the period that it takes for auctioning is very short, and we don't consider it in most cases. Because we know, at times, take for instance, even the cases, sometimes the cases to be investigated take much more longer than the period is given by the law to auction these motorcycles. So that is why really we don't consider the auctioning. You'll find that in most cases, those things which are being auctioned at police stations, they have stayed for more than even 5 years.
What?
Yes. So it takes
5 years dormant.
Yeah,
Is
yes.
that still a motorcycle? Or you're taking scrap?
Because let me tell you, it is possible that a case may happen. It takes even 3 years to be concluded in court. And then the owners
But then
will
there's
appear.
those you know that these are traffic offenders who
Eh,
just never came to collect them.
and the owners will appear at one time. So you just imagine that they appear and win for you now your auction. So we don't really consider, we don't normally consider auctioning first. We really take time because we well know that these people at one day, one time, they will come for their motorcycles. But of course, we are the worst gets to the worst. We have no auction.
Well, it is Good Morning Uganda Extra, and I'm with Michael Kananura, the spokesperson of the Traffic Police in Uganda and also the Community Liaisons Officer for Traffic in Uganda. Now, we are looking at border operations in Kampala, where we see that now police is calling upon people to come and ensure that you pick your motorcycle. Yes, it could be maybe you lent it out to somebody to make for border or someone is, you know, that those that purchase them, then they give them out on loans. Individuals. I buy my 5 motorcycles. I'll tell someone if you're to take it on a loan basis, maybe if it costs about 5.2, then I'll tell you, well, you'll give me 6M or 7 in this period. Or even when you suspect, so please go and collect, gun clear, present proof that this motorcycle is yours. Let's decongest these parking yards of police stations in Kampala. We need them decongested because it's dangerous for security purposes, very dangerous. And even just looking at this, it doesn't look good at all. We need to ensure that these motorcycles leave police as long as they're involved in traffic offenses, because you said it's very easy. Go clear at police, produce evidence, pay the breakdown, which is not above 10,000, go with your motorbike. But I also ask myself now, these operations and these fines, a person has no helmet, they are fined, they go, they pay in the bank, they come, they collect their motorcycle. Then what is the essence? A person has no reflector jacket. He goes to the bank, clears, comes and collects the motorcycle. A person has no driving license, goes to the bank, pays, comes and collects their motorcycle. Are we looking for money in the consolidated fund, or are we aiming at saving lives? Who is fooling who here?
In most cases, when we, it depends on how, okay, it depends on what we agree on when we conduct these operations.
Okay.
Actually, there are sometimes we conduct these operations and we choose not to find anyone, but we only choose to, yes, we only tell them, before you come for your motorcycle, come with the helmet, come with the reflective jacket, come with at least when you have started on the process of a permit and take a motorcycle. There are times that we do that.
And that would be much, much better and meaningful.
Yes, but we cannot also now do it continuously, because we also reach a point now, we also see now it is not producing what? Good results. So you reach a point and you are like, okay, I think these people, this one has not worked well, let's now switch to another. So you see, we keep on changing. That's why I told you that sometimes people ask us that traffic, before you impound these motorcycles, Why don't you first teach border borders? I have enough proof, sir, of the people we have met in Kampala. Not to quarrel, not to impound, but only to teach them what to do. With the help of civil society organizations, we have come on board. We have gone to almost all places around this actually country. Traffic does not only conduct operations. I even have the statistics of how we performed in the first 6 months. I don't count a number of times.
I must say that I agree with you, because I've seen a number of civil society organization and police going in for the border industry, organizing seminars, workshops, meeting them. There I commend you, because you've done that. I've witnessed it.
Very good.
No doubt about it.
But situations where we also teach and people don't comply. Someone say that a sensitization without enforcement is entertainment. So we are saying, no, we cannot also stop on sensitization, but let's also go ahead and now do enforcement. So we try all those things. And the enforcement, like I told you, that sometimes we impound this motorcycle and say, okay, for you, we go to you because you need to have this, can you bring this? So they bring. But then tomorrow again, you get them. So now you feel that now what will pain these people is our fines. Let's fine them. Probably next time they may listen. So someone who has not had our sensitizations, good talk. Now, we come on to impounding and then forcing you to buy these things. But even when you go ahead and also don't listen to that, we have no way out other than doing what? Now using force to now operations now. Conduct operations, get you, pay the money, feel that pain, so that you, next time you have those things.
Well, time is fast spent. I just want to thank you so much, Michael Kananura, that is police spokesperson traffic, and also the liaison officer traffic. But before we move out of here, your parting shot to our brothers and sisters, because now we also have sisters in the border industry.
We do have them.
Your final remark. My
final remark to them. All we need, we don't enjoy, by the way, to do these operations. Like I told you, it is something so challenging. Conducting border operations is so challenging. Even in terms of resources, by the way. Fuel or that to conduct these operations. All we need from you is really to adhere to the traffic rules and regulations. Have those requirements that we want you to have. Have at least crash elements, have reflective jackets, and let's start on the process of the permit. But for the permit, we are not conducting operations because the president said he's looking into reducing the cost of acquiring a permit by borders. So on that, there's a halt. So we are conducting operations on these other things. Helmet, reflective jacket, and those who are riding, those who are violating the one-way rules.
Even I think third party.
Even third party.
Because for my bikes, I make sure each of them has a third party.
Exactly. That one is also very important because we all know what insurance can do for us in the case of crash.
However, Michael, before I forget, one time I was arrested by a traffic officer, and there's something, I don't know if it's, I never had closed shoes. And when he looked, I presented everything. Finally, he says, but you're riding in open shoes.
But that one does not qualify you to get a ticket. Although it is dangerous to have
to ride. I had a very big argument. I was like, no, I'm going to give you a ticket. I waited. And then you can go.
You don't get a ticket.
So one time I said on a border again, I was telling him, I ride, you ride. Today I cannot because I just had some complications with my legs. But he told me, sir, nebwoba na buli kimu nga babadde bakukwata. Bakwata. Chovola twabivaako. So when I remembered that open thing, riding in open shoes, it came to my senses that maybe you need to tell your people, maybe because that's what I thought, that well, if police have come and they want to, and it's an operation, even if you have what it takes, they may arrest you. However, I've seen so many that have what it takes passing through these operation points.
Actually, I want to tell you that there are these things that are major. Things like a helmet, things like reflective jackets, those are a must-have. Then these other things, the shoes, And that's why we also have a team of road safety ambassadors among the borders. We have trained ourselves as traffic to work on some of those things. Like the borders who put on clothes for a week without washing or bathing even. So you don't expect me, traffic officer, to come and arrest them on that. But these ones, their leaders and those ambassadors, they help us on some of those things. Those ones who are drunk on the stages, they want to ride. So the purpose of these, of creating these ambassadors, or road traffic ambassadors among them, is to help them organize in terms of road safety.
Your parting
so
shot.
What I can really tell them is that all we need from you is to have these things. I have always told people, sir, that when you see a traffic officer on the road, just know that you are safe. And what brings me on the road is to ensure that you are safe. You move from point A to point B. That is what gives me joy as a traffic officer. But then not again looking at traffic officer and then you get worried.
Yeah, I've seen even some accidents. You see an operation, these people are running to save their motorcycles. The policemen are also, one time I felt just that I'm a law-abiding citizen. This person is carrying a woman who was a child, and the officer is holding on the motorcycle, then the baby fell down. I'm like, but can't you use your right senses of judgment? If you left this one go, what is...
That was not called for. However, we also appeal to the members of the public, travel people out there, before you get onto a border, first see, do these people have the requirements? It is easy to see some of these things. You know, a crash element is very, very important. We have to look at these people. If someone doesn't have a helmet, me, I don't body. If someone doesn't have a protective jacket, I don't. If your motorcycle is shabby and it is old, I don't. I can't risk my life. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It's a collective responsibility. We must all come up and do what we are supposed to do to save our lives. Let's not wait only for traffic.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and our viewer, thank you very much for being with us from the hour of 6:30 when Good Morning Uganda commences, then 9, and an extra extension of Good Morning Uganda. We don't take you for granted. We appreciate you. We thank you, and please stay with us for more programming. Robert Chirabonyo Internal wishing you a lovely day. God bless Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.